Somebody is not muted. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Janki ji will do 11 to 20 next time.
Sorry?
Verses 11 to 20.
Okay. Yes, that's correct. We'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verses 11 to 20.
यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्मः दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः आब्रह्मभुवनाल्लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्ताम् देहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवन्त्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायम् भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः अव्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति.
We have been studying about the cycles of life, how things go from manifest to unmanifest, and again from the unmanifest to the manifest. Things are expressed and then they are not expressed. And then again there's an expression and again it's not. Imagine the monsoons, as we drive to Lonavala, like maybe April, May, you see just brown land, nothing there. And then when you drive again, maybe in August, September, it's all lush green. So when that land was brown, where was all this greenery? It was there. It was just waiting for the conducive environment. This is an important understanding of life. Has something gone away, or is it simply unmanifest, unexpressed, unseen? This is why we don't solve our problems in life. This is one of the reasons we don't solve. Let's say a couple are fighting. And what happens out of sheer exhaustion after some time, they're not fighting. And then everything is going on quietly, peacefully, nicely. Now what happened to that fight? Don't worry, it is lurking below the surface. It is coming up soon. Isn't it? That's why we go on repeating the same patterns over and over again, because they are there, they are lurking within. When we feel peaceful, we say, oh fine, I solved my problem. See, Vedanta's working. Really? Wait a little longer. Let that situation come by. Then we will know. So we have to understand carefully what is expressed and what is unexpressed. So this is the practical thing. But from that, you understand the philosophical concept, which is that the entire world of objects and beings can go into the unmanifest, like everything. Like one day, isn't it that our sun will be no more and the planets will be no more? What happened? What's going to happen to that? It's all going to go, right? The sun will grow. It will become a red giant. It will, we don't know what will happen. Ashya says, can you please give ideas on how we can break patterns? The only way to break a pattern, Ashya, there's only one breakage, and that is known as
intellect.
Self-realization.
Realization.
Self-effort.
Study. Self-study.
morning study. What is a pattern? Something that you're repeating over and over again unconsciously. So how do you make it conscious? Well, think about it. Think about it as whether it is worth something to do or not, which you must do in a disciplined way with the knowledge of life. That forces us to think differently. It's very difficult to think differently. We are all victims of our own thoughts. And since we are victims of our thoughts, we are victims of the patterns. So how do you break the pattern? Rethink, reconsider, look again. And if you find that very difficult, take help. Say, I don't know how to break this pattern. Please help. Ask anyone. Ask anyone whose intellect is better, of course. It's just like, suppose you have a constant pattern of digestive problems. Then go to a gastroenterologist. What are you fooling around yourself? For 6 years you have tried to deal with your problems. You could not. Now, please go see a gastroenterologist. Why are you not seeing one? You know, give ideas on how to break patterns. I think first idea should really be humility. Sounds so cliched. It sounds so like, bada bataya. But that's the fact, right? I can't handle it. It's something I must recognize. 9 out of 10 people will not say to themselves, this is a problem, I don't know how to handle it. They will not say this. They'll say, I'm on top of it, I'm handling it. And they'll spend years like that. Then I do my morning studies. You're not. Kya bole? A bit helpless, Ashya. I don't know what to say. To figure out pattern is also a big task, especially the subtle ones. Yes, that's true. That's what the morning study is meant for. It is the washing powder on our intellect. अभी धो ही नहीं लोगे तो कैसे कुछ होगा? You're saying with collecting dirt, it's collecting dirt. Arey, but wash it now. Every morning you get a chance to wash all the rubbish that has gone into our heads. You say, no, I will not wash every day. मैं क्या करूं? Then you will have dirty garments. Then people can't come near you. It's smelling. Smell. Terrible smell. Isn't it? That's why vasanas refers to fragrance, the fragrance of that individual. Clean, clean, clean. Saaf karo, saaf karo. Anybody on the spiritual path is only a bhangi. You know what a bhangi is? The scavengers. They have to come and clean. That's our role. We are just scavengers. We just clean, clean, clean. So yes, it's a big task seeing the subtle patterns. You don't, unless they're bothering you, you don't even need to see them. It's no point. Unless there's an agitation, there's no point bothering about it because we are all doing stupid things. We know that. That's a given. But if we do some cleaning every day, at some disciplined kind of way, at least we're not incurring greater dirt. And as we are not incurring greater dirt, slowly we'll start cleaning the older dirt. So you don't need, Deepa, to figure out the pattern. We already know that there is a pattern and we already know those patterns are stupid. So we don't need to figure them out. But if we are rethinking our whole life and rethinking in the right way, these will just go on their own. Unless, of course, those patterns are causing agitations, in which case you will have to deal with them. You'll have to find out what kind of stupid thought do I have because of which I'm feeling so agitated. Is that okay? Sudhara, when breaking a pattern, should we not be gentle with ourselves? We should be gentle with ourselves and everybody, regardless of whether we are breaking patterns or not. We have to be gentle with ourselves and with others, even when they are not willing to break the pattern. So gentleness is constant. It is one of the qualities of a good person. You're just gentle all around to everybody, regardless of whether they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. You're just gentle with people. Gentle in your heart. You may be aggressive outside, but in your heart, only gentlety. Gentlety is the result of not having demands, either on yourself or on others. Be a naturally gentle person. So that yes, we should be gentle with ourselves while breaking a pattern. We should be gentle with ourselves even when not breaking a pattern. Can't we be charitable to ourselves? Similarly, we have to be same with others as well, because we treat ourselves exactly the same way, exactly the way we treat others. What is the process? Hemant, can you elaborate on what is the process followed in morning study? Take a paragraph in the book or whatever you have heard in class and think about it. Think whether this is right, this is wrong. Give yourself examples of where it works, where it doesn't work. Because if you ever find something that doesn't work, know that you've misunderstood the idea. Because it's easy to misunderstand. when you have faith in the scriptures, you start with the concept that the scriptures are right. Now, when you start with the concept that the scriptures are right, which is a really bad way of doing, no intellectual will agree to that, but if you start with that concept and then you remove every meaning which cannot possibly be right, then you get the right answer. So the basic faith in the scripture tells you that the scriptures are right. Okay, it's the voice of God. That's why they tell you they are right. Now you read in the scripture that it's a good idea to go around killing people. Then think about it and remove every idea which is not correct, and what remains will be what they are really trying to tell you. So it just requires us thinking about it, because all we're trying to do is get a new perception on things. At the end of the day, that's all we're doing, isn't it? Just getting a new perception. How will we get a new perception? Just think about it. You say, no, I'm not able to think about it. Then start by making a summary, making a précis, start by doing all these things, start by going to group discussions, because when people say something, it makes us think. Use whatever tool is required for you to start applying yourself on what is factual and what is opinion. Is that okay, Hemant? If Asha, if we know the pattern is triggered by someone else, even if we can understand where the other person is coming from, but don't know how to break the pattern of our reaction, then how to go about breaking the pattern? Same question, Asha, same answer. Your question was clear the first time. There was nothing wrong in the way you framed it. Now you only elaborated it, but the answer continues to be the same. You have the following options. Number 1, get up in the morning and study. Number 2, figure out what is going on there. Not just with him or her, but with me. If somebody is rude and insulting to me, what am I supposed to do about it? The person is a rude and insulting person, and he will continue to be a rude and insulting person. That's nothing whatsoever to do with me. No, it bothers me a lot. Then please control yourself. What do you mean it bothers me? Why is it bothering you? Figure out what is there. Why is it bothering you? It's hurting me so much. But why is it hurting you so much? Go into it. Find out what is going on. This is only internally, okay? And once you've done all this internally, then you think, what is the right way to deal with it? Maybe if he's so rude and insulting, maybe I don't have this person in my life. Why should I have a rude and insulting person in my life? So if you have the option, don't have such a person in your life. Reduce contact with that person. We don't want to be surrounded by people who are so negative. So reduce contact. No, but I can't reduce beyond a point. I can't leave. Then gulp and swallow it. Is there anything according to you can do to keep it more amicable? Then do it. If after all of this, you still don't know how to do anything, step number 3 is
ask someone.
Ask someone. Ask not just anyone, but ask someone with a better intellect who's able to guide you through that process. Okay, so answer are the same 3 steps. Study, think, take guidance from a superior intellect. Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming back to the...
Janji, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Omkar.
If the law says that gross cannot affect the subtle, and our self is the subtlest, how can ignorance, which is gross, affect it in the way it covers it and not let it emerge?
The answer is it doesn't do that. It is you who believe that it has done that. It cannot do that. It does not have the power to do that. Just as when when a child puts a finger in front of their eye, like that, the child puts a finger in front of the eye and says, I made the sun go away. No, you haven't. You only blocked your vision. So, though it appears to us so, ignorance cannot affect the self. That's fundamental. But it appears to us so, just like when the child puts a finger in front of the eye.
So when we say that remove the ignorance for the self to emerge, in a way, isn't the ignorance covering the self and hence influencing it?
It's not covering the self. Exactly. When we say remove ignorance to uncover, unfold the self, meaning remove your finger, the self is already there. When you tell the child puts the finger in front of the eye, oh, the sun is gone, the sun is gone. So you tell the child, please remove your finger, the sun will come back. But the sun neither went nor is it coming back. It was always there. Always the same. Your finger has done absolutely nothing to it. Unaffected. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
So, we covered everybody, right? So, this talks about the patterns that are going on, not just within ourselves, which it does speak about, how at night we go to sleep and everything closes down. The good, the bad, the ugly is all gone. And then when we get up in the morning, the same, the good, the bad, the ugly, all comes back to the sun. Similarly, at the cosmic level, this happens too. The sun and the moon and the stars all close down. And according to science, at least, it comes to singularity. And then what happens after that? Then there's a big bang. And then the whole cosmos starts opening out all over again, taking 4 billion years. And you understand this on some sort of cosmic level, just the pattern which go on in our own life, our day and our night. So too it's happening at the cosmic level, which they expressed as the day of Brahma and the night of Brahma, the creator. When the creator goes to sleep, the whole place is closed down. And when the creator wakes up, the whole thing makes up, as it were, again, all back to square one. In fact, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they say every Treta Yoga, there will be a Rama and Rama story. Ramayana will happen each time. Krishna and Krishna's story happens every time. I don't know if you're familiar. This is what the mythology says. These are just poetic ways of saying everything closes down and everything opens back to its same state again. Okay, so now that brings us to another question. Is that all there is to life? Just these patterns? Things opening and closing, opening and closing. Are we forever caught in this pattern? We may change the pattern. We may have different things opening and closing. But will there always be something opening and closing? So that's what verse 20 speaks about. So let's do verse 20. परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः अव्यक्तो व्यक्तः सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नाशत्सु न विनश्यति परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः अव्यक्तो व्यक्तः सनातनः यः स सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. So he explained to us the patterns that are being followed. Now what? We understood that. I hope it's very clear. You can see the patterns of life just continuing. The tiger goes to sleep and wakes up as the tiger. The cat goes to sleep and wakes up as the cat. We all go to sleep and wake up again ourselves. So these patterns are going on in individuals as well as the cosmos. So is there anything else? So he says, para tasmat. Tasmat means from that, higher than that. Tu bhava anyaha. There is an anya bhava. There's something else beyond all this. Avyaktaha. It is also manifest. But it is sanatana. Whoever's got your volume on, please switch it off. Elsie, is that you? Elsie, it's come on again. Thank you. So there are these patterns of the unmanifest and the manifest. But other than this, there is something else that also is unmanifest. But the difference is it is the eternal unmanifest. Yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. When sarveshu bhuteshu, in the destruction of all beings, it is not destroyed. Okay, so now you got three things. You have a manifest, you have an unmanifest, and you have a third manifest. Wait, time for us to use our new toy. Omkar, can you let me do screen? I can do share screen. No, I can't. Can you please allow share screen?
I made you the co-host. Please try.
Oh, good. You can see this? Everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, wonderful. So, forgive my bad handwriting on this, but try and understand the concept. Now what? Knowing the self is apprehension. Apprehension means knowing. When you don't know the self, this is not known as non-apprehension. And when you misunderstand the self, it is known as misapprehension. Okay, so when you know the self, that's apprehension, that's knowledge. When you don't know the self, that is called non-apprehension. And when you misunderstand the self, it's called misapprehension. Or try and understand this from the perspective of, if I know Mr. Banerjee as Mr. Banerjee, if I know Mr. Banerjee as Mr. Banerjee, this is called apprehension. If I don't know Mr. Banerjee as Mr. Banerjee, I don't know who it is, then this is called non-apprehension. But if I misunderstand Mr. Banerjee to be Mr. Chatterjee, this is misapprehension. So clear? So either you know it, or you don't know it, or you misunderstand it. So far, so good. Okay, so now what is the state of apprehension? Is the state of self-realization, is the state of Brahman, the state of God, the transcendental. I put a symbol, you can put any symbol of your choice, it just represents the transcendental, knowledge of the transcendental. Non-apprehension of this, not knowing it, ignorance, avidya, is known as vasanas. Right? Now, vasanas manifest as our thoughts and our actions, right? Everything from thought to action. All this is the manifestation of vasanas. When are we in the state of vasanas? Is in the state of deep sleep. When do we misunderstand? So see, what isn't this happening in the state of a deep sleep? You just don't know. That's your state. You're in ignorance, total ignorance. You don't know. But when this starts manifesting, you come into the dream or the waking state. That's the W. Okay, you come into the dream or waking state. So when we talk of the patterns going on, what is happening to us? We are moving between these two, right? Either it is in deep sleep, where you're not experiencing anything, or you're in the dream or waking, where something is being experienced. Some thought, some action, something is going on. Right? Clear so far? Now he's saying that there was a non-apprehension, okay, the unmanifest, and then there was the misapprehension, which was the manifest, right? So you have this unmanifest, and this is the manifest, and the cycle is between these two. Okay, this is what we've done so far. Now he's saying para, tasmat, from that. Other than these two things, there is yet another unmanifest. He is now talking about this. There is still something we don't know. So imagine it like this. If this is the ocean, this is, let's say, the water, and this is the waves. When there's no waves, you just see a sheet. But when the waves start, then all the fun starts, right? Okay, or you can see it as earth, right? The earth is here. Then here is the seed. And here is the plant, the tree, the vegetation. Please forgive this extremely untidy board, but I hope the point is clear. Earth, okay, so you see the vegetation, you see it all green sometimes, and you see nothing sometimes. And this cycle goes on all the time. It's green or it's not. The cycle is going on. But beyond the seed and the vegetation is the earth, which we will miss completely when we think of the cycle going on. Between the water and the waves, we forget the ocean. Between the deep sleep and the waking and dream, we forget about the Atman. So caught up in that cycle. It goes on and on and on. Relentlessly it goes on. From birth to death, we are caught up in that cycle. So that's what he's saying. Para tasmat, from these two cycles, we have something else. And that something else is not destroyed when these two go through these cycles. So you go through happiness, you go through sorrow, whatever in the world you go through, there is something in you which doesn't go through any of this, which stays constant, which stays eternal, which is always there. When we were small, there used to be this poster, on the road, you see these posters. There was a nice poster. It said, "Sleep in peace, God is awake." Isn't that so true? Sleep in peace, God is awake. Everything is like that. Cry in peace, God is there. Laugh in peace, God is there. He's always there. That unmanifest is there no matter whether our world is manifest or our world is not manifest. He is always there. So that's what verse 20 says. But there exists higher than the unmanifested. Higher than the unmanifested, in this case, he's talking about this unmanifested. But there exists higher than the unmanifested, yet another unmanifested. Now he's talking about this one. He's talking about Brahman. Eternal. That one is eternal. The unmanifested comes and goes, right? But Om is eternal, which is not destroyed when all beings are destroyed.
Ma'am, but water and seed are like manifested, right? They are not unmanifested. Like,
No, take the example with it in the sense that seed is not seen by you. I mean, or a seed, let's say you have 5 seeds in your hand, you don't know what is what. It's when you plant them and they become a tree, you know that this is mango, this is neem, this is whatever in the world it is. So it's unmanifest in the sense it's not expressed. You don't know what it is. Like you meet a person new, you don't know what that person is. When you stay with that person for a considerable period of time, the nature of that person comes out. But I don't know what you're meaning by unmanifested. Unmanifested means not expressed.
ma'am, anything with a name and form is already expressed.
Yes, correct. So, I think you're thinking that the seed has name and form. Is that what you mean? No,
Yes.
no. This is an example, Sarthak. It doesn't mean the seed is unmanifest like that. Like the seed, what it means is, like the seed does not show the characteristics of the tree until it grows up, so too the vasanas do not show characteristics until they get expressed in thoughts and action. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I hope this verse is clear and the board helped make it clear after all that was done to get this board going.
Hari Om Janki, one
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your vasanas affect your dreams also, the dream state.
Your vasanas accept, yes, correct. Everything about you is from your vasanas.
Okay. So both dream and wake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both are manifestation, right? All thoughts, all actions come from vasanas. So you have thoughts and actions in the dream as well.
Thank you, Hari Om.
I
Yeah,
have a
Anita?
question.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, why are we using the word apprehension instead of comprehension? Apprehension popularly means the fear of something that would happen.
Look it up, Anita. That's
No,
only
I know
one
there's
of
another
the...
meaning. Popularly, it is meant that.
You can change the word to comprehension.
No, I just asked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. It's here, apprehension is used in the sense of knowing. But you can use any word, it's fine.
Okay.
You can say
Thank you.
realization, knowing, understanding.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Janki ji, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is avidya also the unknown?
Avidya is another word for vasanas.
Yes, but can it be also called the unknown?
Yes, avidya literally translated means ignorance. How is ignorance to be known?
So my next question is that if the we studied at some time that you go from the known to the unknown.
That's right.
So for your desire for the self comes from the vasana to gain the self. Isn't it going from avidya to vidya, from the unknown to the known, instead of from the known to the unknown?
No, I think you're mixing up two concepts. When you say go from the known to the unknown, it means take a fact which you know to build up your theory. That's what it means. So if you want to know your unmanifest vasanas, start from your actions. So know your actions, then from that action figure out what the thoughts were, what did I do, then what are the thoughts, why did I do it, what was my intention behind it, and from that you'll be able to figure out what your vasanas are. So that's what that concept refers to.
Okay, got it.
It's got nothing to do with going from vasanas to knowledge, because technically you never go from vasanas to knowledge, because knowledge is always there. So it is not relevant here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Sangeeta?
Harimdi, I have a question. Like once you understand what your vasanas are, but they do keep on appearing in your thoughts, how to control those and get rid of the unwanted thoughts?
The whole class will be able to answer this question. Someone tell Sangeeta how to do that.
Self-study. Morning study, yeah.
Please do it. Yes, Akhila, correct. The whole class will tell you how to do it. And you yourself know if somebody else asked you this question.
I understand morning studies, but they
No,
thought
wait, stop, Sangeeta. We don't understand it. Understand what is happening. A thought is being repeated over and over again. Why is it being repeated over and over again? Because you have repeated that thought over and over again. So what are you doing in morning studies? You're repeating some other thought. When you repeat these other thoughts, these thoughts will naturally die. It's like you have two gardens. Okay, one you're watering. So it's become like a big jungle over there. The other one you're not watering. So you're saying this is dead land, this is barren land. So every time I tell you, please water the other one, stop watering the jungle one and water this one. But we said, no, morning study is so boring. But unless you water those new thoughts, these thoughts will always be more powerful.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Jailam. Okay, what is morning study? Thank you, Jailam, for bringing that up, because, often we just talk of things on the notion that everybody else understands it. And I really can't tell now who is new in the class anymore. So anyone who is new in the class and something we're talking about which is simply not clear, please say so. Don't say I look like a fool. Well, if you ask a question, you look like a fool once. If you don't ask the question, you'll be permanently a fool. So please choose the ones. So, Jailam, yeah. So what do you mean by morning study? Okay. Morning study means that you get up in the morning, Jailam, between 4 and 6 and study Vedanta. That's what it means. Okay. There's a lot of emphasis put on it. That is correct. And everybody doesn't like to do it. That is also correct until you start doing it.
Janki ji, Sudha here.
Yeah.
Today I've realized one thing. I had a lemonade bottle which I threw the after finishing the lemonade. The bottle was so cute that I started filling water in it and thinking this smell will go. But every time I was sipping water, there was still the smell of lemonade tinge of that flavor. So today, finally, I threw away the bottle and I realized how much our vasanas are like that. They just stick on to us so much. Unless you decide to throw it away, they will just not go. And so are the patterns. It is so much of effort. For me, the attachment to that cute looking bottle was so much that I just couldn't throw it away. But today morning, after the morning study, I decided enough of all this. Why should I every time? Because the bottle is cute, I kept the bottle, but the lemonade smell is still there and I'm not liking it. So I might as well throw it away. The minute I threw the water bottle in the dustbin, I realized how much of relief I got. It's so liberating.
Yes, it is, Sudha. But let us finish Jalam's question. No, I mean, nice, good
Sorry.
example. But let us finish Jalam's question.
Sorry.
Okay. So, Jalam, what it means is get up in the morning between 4 and 6 and study. That's it. Study means reflect on what has happened in class. If you feel, Jalam, 4 to 6, so far I was enjoying Vedanta, now I'm going to give up. If you feel like that, then don't worry. Just get up as early as you possibly can and study for at least 15-20 minutes. Okay, but study means think about the idea. Don't agree with the idea. Don't say, yes, it must be so because it's in the scripture, but just think about that idea. Okay, reflect upon that idea, question the idea, understand from what point of view this is correct, because everything is said from a certain point of view, and it becomes relevant only from that point of view. If you shift the context, the idea will change. Is that clear? Okay, so the ideal time for morning
Yes,
study is what?
understanding.
Sorry?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, trying to comprehend. Yeah, getting a little bit of it. Yes.
Just go revise
Thank
what
you.
you have read or what you have heard in the class. Revise it. Don't just, like in any subject, don't you go home and do your homework. If you were learning a language and you didn't do homework, the new language will never settle in the head, right? If you do any, if you learn
Another,
guitar.
right. I have one more question, a follow-up to that. So since I'm very new to these concepts and since I've just started out and I've just heard maybe a couple of classes, maybe 20, 25 of them by now, trying to understand. So where do I start with? Since I'm very new at it.
Where you start with whichever class you're listening to, make sure that you study that book. Suppose you're studying Bhagavad Gita, and that's a bit tough. So which classes are you doing? Are you doing Vedanta treaties also? No, which classes are you doing? Both Gita only? Which class?
No, a little bit of Vedanta. I've done a little bit of Bhajan Govindam, a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita. So, and I'm beginning to read The Fall of Human Intellect, maybe from this week. So, just I don't know which thought do I start with? There's so much. That is.
Yeah, just revise what you did in the classes initially. Just revise that much.
Okay.
And see how it goes from there.
Okay.
If you take on too many things, then
all right. Yeah.
This much you make sure that whatever
exactly.
you study in one class, next day's morning study should be that portion. So at least that much is clear.
Okay. Yes, got it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hemant says, can the timing for study be shifted to the evening? What do I say to that, Hemant? My standard is rather low at the moment. As long as you study is fine. Do it anytime in the day, in the night, in the afternoon, whenever you want to do it. However, if you want to get the maximum benefit of it, at Brahma Muhurta is the recommended time. Now, why is it recommended 4 to 6? Not merely to trouble us, not merely to say, oh, early morning is very good, no such thing. Why it does that is there are patterns in life. Okay, so just as there are so many patterns in life, there is that same pattern in the day as well. So the day begins before sunrise, very sattvic. Just as everything begins sattvic. Even tiger cub doesn't begin violent. Every child, even if he's going to grow up to become Hitler, started very cute, right? So whenever something begins, it's very cute, it's very nice, it's very pleasant, very nice. So it's very sattvic. So that 4 to 6, that means the period just before sunrise, the day is sattvic. As the sun starts rising, Rajas starts. And when the day sets, when the sun sets, Tamas starts. So you'll see this pattern followed by people. People who have sattvic content, they automatically get up early. They're not forcing anything. They just get up early. That's natural to them. The Rajasic people, they get up when the sun rises. And the Tamasic people, they have to be dragged out of bed because it's not really their time. So, what happens when the day is sattvic is the mind and the intellect is very attuned to the study. At between 4 to 6, the mind doesn't get agitated. It's generally very quiet. It's quiet outside. The environment is sattvic. In your mind also, it's all quiet. Even if you are a talented drunkard, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you will not pick up a drink. First thing you get up and you have. I mean, if you have that much, then you're PhD. But assuming that you are a heavy drinker, you won't drink even at 4 o'clock in the morning. If you are a very hot-tempered person, you won't be getting angry at 4 o'clock in the morning. Whatever we have, it doesn't come early morning. Mind is very peaceful. The environment is very peaceful. Mind is very peaceful. And then you're applying your intellect, sattvic intellect, the maximum sattva which we have in us is manifesting at that time. Because the environment is like that, the whole nature cycle is like that, and we are also part of nature. So the most superior aspect of your intellect, the clearest your intellect can be, is applied to the highest activity that a human being is capable of performing. And therefore, that's the most productive way of doing it. But if you say, I can't do it before 6, okay, any time of your choice. But first, just see the patterns of life, how in early morning, how you are behaving, what is going on. Then daytime, how as the sun rises, you can't really study because everybody's interrupting you. There's all the activity going on, all the dynamism going on. And then towards the night, how all indulgent activities start. When you go for Diwali parties, when you go gambling, when do you go? When do you want to drink? Why is it called a sundowner? All tamasic activities start late at night. When there's reckless driving going on the streets, when is this happening? So you'll find all tamasic activities are happening at night. Vegas comes to life at what time? Think about it. So when you start thinking like that, and you understand the patterns, then you understand that it would be more sensible for me to do it in the morning. But for whatever reason you can't, then you might well do it sometime. Is that clear? Hemant?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, what are the other things?
Janki ji?
One second, Anuja. Sarthak has a written question. Could you please define desires? Desire is defined as a thought flow designed to fill a lacuna felt within oneself. Desire is nothing but a thought flow, your thoughts flowing in a particular direction. And why are they flowing in that direction? Because you wish to fill a lacuna that you feel within yourself. So what is the definition of desire? A thought flow designed to fulfill the lacuna felt within. Can it be defined as being senses being attracted to sense objects? No, it cannot be defined as senses being attracted to sense objects, because what the senses do is not desire, that is action. Now, and secondly, even if you say the mind being attracted to sense objects, then that is a little, you could take it like that, but it's a little bit, you'll have to define sense objects now. Because if you define sense objects as not only, things like a laddu and like, like enjoyments, but then it should include books, it should include idols, it should include everything. So if you by sense object mean that, you include thoughts, you include emotions, you include all of it, then, but normally you don't use the word sense objects to include thoughts and emotions. You don't even include, you sometimes use it to include things like idols, but it'll all come under that. Is it the mind contemplation of an object? Yes, you can say that. The thought flow is in the mind. That you can say. Contemplation you don't usually use with reference to the mind. Use it always with reference to the intellect. Because contemplation means a conscious activity, right? Contemplation is the highest form of thinking. You don't usually use this word with reference to the mind. But as long as you get the concept, it's okay. All right, Sarthak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I hope verse 20 is clear.
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I have one question.
Go ahead, Ganesh.
So getting rid of vasanas, okay? So it is neither through moderation nor through excess, indulgence nor abstinence. So how do we get rid? Is it that we only look at the self and the highest vasana and just work towards that? Because if we don't remove vasanas, there's no self-realization, right? So
correct. So there's only one way to remove vasanas, and that is to take on higher ideas. There's no other way to do this.
okay.
When you take a higher vasana, the lower vasana, let's use the word desire. When you take a higher desire, the lower desire falls away.
Okay.
And you keep repeating that. It's not just once. So at the moment you take whatever appears higher to you now. What is the noblest thing you can think of right now, which is inspiring, which you can work towards?
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Then after some time, you'll cruise with that. Then raise it higher and higher and higher.
Okay.
Janki ji, can I ask a small doubt, clarify a small doubt?
Please do so.
See, throwing away the lemonade bottle itself has taken me 15 days. So getting rid of toxic people in our life, how long will it take, Janki ji? I mean, I know it's bothering me, it's frustrating me, but even to throw away that small bottle took me 15 days, realizing it's not good, it's not pleasant. But sometimes you're so stuck in certain relationships that even though you know they are toxic to your growth and you're in a different path and they don't understand what you want or they are not in the similar thought pattern, it's again a pattern to let them in your life and again bear up with it and let them in your life. And how long is like, sometimes it's like very frustrating for me.
If it's turning out to be frustrating, Sudha, there may be a possibility that you're not handling it the right way. So you need to re-examine the way you're looking at it. So anything we do with anybody should give us pleasure, and the more stupid the person is, the more pleasure it should give us. Because it becomes like a game, right? If you're really so much stupider than me, then I can play with you. So if I'm not finding any enjoyment, doesn't amuse me the least bit, then I have to look at this again. So I can't say I'm on a different path. If I'm genuinely higher than you,
not
then I should be amused by this nonsense.
not in a superior way, but sometimes, certain people in your life are like, they're toxic and you don't want it. They pull you down. I know the answer, but it's very tough for me to, kind of put them at bay.
So you have to figure out why. What is so tough? If you're finding them toxic, why is it that you're not putting them at bay, as you call it? Because if you think about it seriously, you might find that there is a sort of dysfunctional relationship here at play. So you got to figure out which part is dysfunctional. And the whole point of a dysfunctional relationship is that that relationship is fulfilling something.
Yes.
So that you have to find out, what is it fulfilling, what is it not fulfilling. So therefore I'm clinging on. Why were you clinging on to that bottle? Because it was fulfilling something. It was fulfilling the need to have a pretty bottle.
Yeah.
So though it had some bad stuff, which is it had a smell, you were holding on to it.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of decide which way you're going, one way or the other.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you. I'll think about it. Yes.
Okay, Shivani, last question I'll take. If your vasanas are of self-realization, and then through our thoughts and actions we go from unmanifestation to manifestation, will we become enlightened? So from the non-apprehension, can we go to apprehension? Of course we can go from non-apprehension to apprehension. That is what the word liberation or realization means. If we can't go from the non-apprehension to apprehension, then what is realization? A person who already knows the self is not going to realize the self, right? Only we people who don't know the self will realize the self. We don't know the self means we are in non-apprehension. So we are the only people who can go to apprehension.
Yes, ma'am.
If our vasanas are of self-realization, then through our thoughts and actions we'll go from the unmanifestation to manifestation. No, by going through the cycles, you don't go to realization. When you are able to look beyond the cycles, when you're able to retrain your thoughts to higher, nobler, better, greater things, then that cycle gets broken. And you train yourself into new and higher thoughts by a systematic attempt to do that, not by random things.
Can you give an example?
Give an example of what, Shivani?
This thing, just what you said.
You mean how higher thoughts make lower thoughts go away, or you mean,
yes.
Is that what you're asking an example for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you were playing at some time, Shivani, with your little dollies, you loved them and you did everything for them, and you changed their clothes and you gave them baths and you had food with them and you slept with them and you loved them so much. Okay, now you've grown up. What are you? You're a college student. What are you at the moment? I don't know.
I'm a student. Yeah.
Okay, so now that you have grown up to this grand old age of, I don't know,
24.
24, okay. Up to this grand old age of 24. Now, what happened to those dolls? So what is the process that took place? You got associated with higher values in life. You understood something beyond those dolls, and then those dolls meant nothing. Those very dolls which you love so much. So that's the process of growth. That doesn't mean you hate the dolls now. That's not what it means. It's just that they don't figure in your mental space anymore. Not part of that deal anymore. So that when you keep on doing systematically, coming to this age, nature will do for you. But if you want to go beyond this point, you'll have to do it systematically in a disciplined manner for yourself, which is what the morning study is about.
Yeah, got your point, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for today. Hari Om.
Hari Om Janki.
Hari Om Janki.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om Di, thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji, thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji, thank you.
Hari Om
Janki ji, thank you very much.
Hari Om.